You know about them?
Yeah, she just come with Bessie.
Yeah?
Yeah, you just come with Bessie
Bessie
there.
Smith,
Bessie Smith
veterans.
is, you know, that's 1930s. And after, remember, Ella was coming after Bessie.
right.
And Bessie was still there, but when Ella came, she changed the whole soul of female vocalists. So Bessie to Ella, but Billy was involved in the middle, but Billy was all right for about 4 years. And then she got into the heroin thing. And she lost her voice. So then when Ella came in, Ella was pitch perfect as a female. And that's the standard that every female singer reaches for. Whitney, Beyonce, everybody
That's
reaches
the
for
benchmark,
that is the
Lenni. You
benchmark,
know
that is the best ever.
Man knows his music.
You know, that's the best ever because remember, she's sung with everybody.
Class.
You know
your music,
remember she
Lenni.
was with Duke. Duke had the Ellington band had her in the late 30s, early 40s. She was with Duke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you were singing for the Ellington band, they'd done the Cocoa Club, and she had to walk around the back. And she didn't.
Black people come in the front entrance.
Go in the front entrance, which, if you was going there, it sounds strange now, it wouldn't happen, but back in the day, you're talking about the best vocalist ever, and she had to go through a back door, she couldn't walk through the front door, and that is a strange feeling. And me being a musician, when I think about it, and then I've got Ella's my girl, and I love Ella Bits because as a vocalist, me being a musician and being a producer and an arranger, she's pitch perfect. Every note she sings is
pure class.
It's just class, but it's on point.
Yeah.
She's singing the actual note. She's not singing a tune.
She's feeling the
she
music
sings
because
the
of her
notes.
life.
You can actually tune your guitar off her,
Ella,
which is ridiculous when you think about it. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. And you see Whitney come. Whitney was smashing
emulate that.
Yeah, but Whitney, because she's come out of gospel, because people get her mum, Cece Houston, is probably one of the biggest gospel singers
And her
ever.
auntie's Dion Warwick, innit?
Her auntie's Dion,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Well, is it her cousin? Are they cousins? I think they're cousins.
I think her auntie's Dion Warwick. Something like that, but it's a family connection.
There's a family, but they're cousins, because Dion is a cousin of Whitney. But when she comes out, because of Cece Houston, remember that was one of the biggest gospel singers ever. So you've got a daughter called Whitney, ridiculous. Whitney was the closest anybody's going to get to Ella.
That's right.
You know, anybody. Beyonce, she can sing now, but she ain't got
Not like
no
them
wing.
girls.
She-
Not
no,
like the old
she
girls.
She hasn't got that range, she hasn't
They
got
got
that
the
vocal.
soul.
You
Just
know,
haven't
she
got the
hasn't
feel in the
she
music.
ain't got that because, you know, when you change the script, because if pop music goes back to 1929, you know what I mean? 1929. That's when pop music really started. You understand me? And in progress, you got from that Charleston, what you're saying, that then it comes into the jazz era, which then turned into the blues era, which then turned into the pop era, which then turned into the rock era, which then turned into the punk era, which then turned into what we're listening today. So it's always a carry-on of styles of music. To go forward, you have to go back to the past. There's no tune that you hear today that has not taken.
And everything goes full circle.
Of course it does.
Music, clothes, everything.
You use it. The amen break, which our scene, the rave scene, is built on one break called the amen break. That was made in 1969.
Yeah, teach them.
1969.
Yeah.
And we brought it back in 89 and speeded it up to 150 BPM. You know what I mean?
School them.
It's a 69 break. And if you hear some of the samples, they hark back to the 70s.
Right back there.
You know, we use them. Candy Stanton was all over it.
That's right.
You know, these
George
are
Clinton.
This ain't no new thing.
These are people, if you go Bootsy Collins, George Clinton, but
I love Bootsy.
you know, if you look at all the people there, music's the thing that, you know, I always say to people, are you listening or are you hearing? There's
Two different
you
things.
can hear music, but can you listen music?
Yeah.
Because once you get past the drum, the bass and whatever, can you get deep into that? Because music should form a scene and it take you somewhere else. If you was listening to some nice jazz, is it a smoky day in London or France? Is it raining? Is it cloudy up? Does it fit that scene? And music should always tell a story, and if it doesn't tell a story, it's just pop music, it's just bouncy music. But if you listen, there's an album by Miles Davis with in 1959, it's still the best-selling album of jazz today, right? It's called A Kind of Blue, and I play that every Sunday, and I've done for years, because it chills me, and it's so perfect when Miles comes in. It takes you to another world, it takes you to a new dimension in what the sound should be. And that's what we're doing at the moment. So you can see music as a whole, you can listen to it a bit more.
But these youths don't know about them music, so
Yeah,
we
but
have
they
to
don't
educate
know-
them,
yeah,
Lenni,
but-
do you know what I mean?
But you have to be fair to the youth there because they grew up in the 90s. That's their old school, the 90s. You understand me? So they going back like that, unless you're deep into music like us, and like me, I'm a musician. That's their old
They're
school.
juggling to the samples of what we listen to, the originals, you
Yeah,
know
but
what I
that's
mean?
but that you
You've
can't
got to show
knock
them,
them for
but
that. You can't
no,
knock them
not
for
at
that
all,
because
don't knock them
that's
at all.
what they grew up with. Remember, we grew up without computers. They grew up with computers. They can find any music,
Different
any sample,
generation.
anything they want by just clicking a mouse. We couldn't do that. When I wanted to get dub plates, I had to go to the pressing plant.
Sure them. Yeah, get me.
You get 25 plates and it's done.
Yeah.
And it's metal. You know, when I'm
Metal
first
blood.
record, you know, watching that vinyl come off the press. I was in London and watching my first tune come off the press. You know, that's a feeling if you're a
Feel nice,
musician.
innit?
You feel brilliant
Yeah.
because that's my tune, that's
right.
me, and I'm watching it being pressed, being manufactured and coming to me. And you know, and
My daddy pressed Studio One, you know what I
that's
mean?
what I'm saying. But Channel 1, Studio 1, you can go back to Ruby, Jack Ruby when he was in Studio 1. You can go to Gibbs, Channel 1.
Yeah.
That's where we
Joe
go back.
Gibbs.
People
Like
forget,
Gibbs.
everybody sees Bob Marley as a Rasta man. People forget Bob Marley was a coalman. He played some ska business back in the day. 67, he was playing some ska
My dad used to
business.
say that man
Him
was
and
shot.
Tosh. Him and Tosh were playing ska business.
tried.
They had a little
With the
suit on like
afros
the
and the
Beatles.
little tight
They were
trousers.
dressed, yeah, they were dressed up like the
Woo.
Beatles.
That's right.
People forget that.
Lenni
Coal
knows
made
his
everything.
shit, man.
You understand me?
Outside language.
And you know when we see when you see Bob Marley, even though he's one of my heroes, if you go back and step back to him, he was always a Rasta man. He was always smoking weed. He was a ballad,
Yeah, ska.
playing some ska music,
Yeah.
which was more poppy than actual ska, because they was trying to break the mold. You know what I mean? Even when he first broke out in England, they had to put a guitar solo in 74, I think it was, in his tune, I Shot the Sheriff. They had to put a guitar solo in.
Island Records, Chris Black, who owns the label that Marley was on, made millions
Yeah,
of
but
Bob
that's why
Marley.
Chris,
and
Chris
Bob
put that.
Marley never made
Remember,
that money.
because everybody was into rap then. So there was mad guitar solos that went on forever. Chris Black put the guitar solo in I Shot the Sheriff
Yeah.
just to sell the tune
Yeah.
because everybody was listening to
But
it.
they bought him because he was pale skinned. Because Peter Tosh was too political for them.
Oh, Peter Tosh
They
was,
wiped
you
out
know what I
Peter
mean?
Tosh, they wiped Tosh out.
But
because he was too-
remember, they went mad with the money because Black Belt
Marley
give them a
was
load of
paying
money.
enough for them to
Yeah, but
market.
Black Belt give them a load of money to make tune in Jamaica and they spent up all the money.
Yeah.
People forget that. They get a bag of change
I know they did.
and make tune.
And Marley was sleeping with a white woman called Cynthia.
You see, Bob
I
Marley.
mean, she was
people
part of
forget-
Island Records. She
people
got me
forget,
some
you
of this kind
understand me?
of...
They gave them a load of money and they spent the money. That's what Chris Blackwell gave them tune, and when they was thinking about bringing him over here, they had to change the whole track to put that guitar. If you listen to I Shot the Sheriff, you'll hear a guitar solo in the middle. And that's the way it is, you see, because they had to appeal to the English public.
You have to market to the
Of course
white
they did,
people.
because
and
it was
they did.
prod rock then, remember? Everybody
Yeah,
was into
that's
prod rock in the
right.
early 70s.
Yeah.
You only had Bowie in 69, who was totally different, when he brought Life on Mars out in 1969, which was totally off the chart because Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, nobody's ever seen that yet, that was new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everybody else was prod rock.
Yeah.
You had Zepp, you had The Who, you had Lake Cream, you had Beatles, which were coming out and experimenting.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they broke up in 69,
their thing,
70.
yeah.
You know, and that's the way it was. So that's the way music is, you know what I mean? To understand music, you've got to look
Study
back
it, that's right.
and see where you're at with music.
That's right.
You know,
See
because
the foundation.
you've got to, because that's part of your grounding,
Yeah.
and you will have a better understanding when you listen to it. You know what I mean? And that's always been my way because I've been into music for so long, listening to it and understanding it.
That's right.
You know, understanding where these people come from, how did they make this music, how did you know, why
yeah.
did they get this influence
That's
from?
right.
Is it their surroundings? Is it their upbringing? Is it where they live? Is it the hardship of how? Where do you get these tunes from? What brings these tunes out of you? What brings these tunes out of you? That's where you look at it from. And I always say to people, like I said before, you can hear or you can listen. There's two choices. It depends how deep you want to get in music.
I love music.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
if
even
I
watch
was
television.
a,
Let
yeah,
me
but
out.
if
I
I was
play
a
music.
musician, would I go that deep? Probably not. But I've been involved with music for most of my life, 4 decades. You understand me? Over 4 decades. That's over 40 years I've been doing music and I've been playing live.
Yeah, man. That's Lenni.
education.
That's the Lenni.
Show them what it's all about.
That's where it is.
I let some of these use listen to certain samples and I show them new.